right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first recap of the 2025 playoffs here on YouTube. Yes, this YouTube channel does work because I don't do ads. That's why. So yeah, I'm wearing this. I have 3 different team shirts ready to go, depending on who won, who lost, and here we go. All right, so we're going to cover the Empire Division first, and then we're going to talk about the Continental Division. All right, so Port Huron, wow, 6-2 over Danbury. I think a lot of people, including myself, expected, yeah, Port Huron can win a game. They could win 2 games, but I thought this was going to be close, and it was not. Definitely not close. All right. Actually, very early on, this was, I won't say all Danbury, but Danbury were getting the better of the opportunities. And then Port Huron, the difference was, this was the main difference. In between the first and second period, Port Huron went into their locker room, made adjustments. They came out with an incredible forecheck system that they utilized for the rest of the game, and it won them the game. It wasn't necessarily their physicality that did play a part in it, but this forecheck system, Danbury could not figure it out, and it was two men forechecking, one guy hanging back, playing whatever side of the ice the puck was on, plus 2 hanging back, and it worked for them. That was the difference of this game. All right, so in the first, it is Chase Harwell getting the first goal of the game, getting the puck by Reed Cooper, who was a goaltender for the Prowlers. Connor McCollum, he starts for the hat tricks, and first period, okay, and then after that, it just all fell in. Again, primarily because of that forecheck. So it's 1-0 Danbury at the end of 1. Shots in that first period were 9-8 in favor of the hat tricks. In the second, Danbury gets a goal in the offensive zone. Good cycling of the puck. And Josh LaBelle scores to make it 2-0. And then it just all kind of went downhill from there. I'm sorry, the time of the goal was 7:21. So about 2 minutes later, breakaway. Bobby Price, one of the Trine University guys on the roster, he takes a puck, short-handed, puts it past McCollum, and that just really seemed to be the confidence booster that the Prowlers needed as far as their game in the offensive zone. They were playing a great game, or starting to transition in that forecheck system, but Price, he ends up with a shorthanded goal, gets the Prowlers on the board. And then another 2 minutes later, 11:25, it's Drew Welsh, another one of the Trine guys. He scores in the power play. Danbury, they started getting into some penalty trouble in the second period, and Port Huron took advantage of that. All right, so 2-2 at the end of 2. Shots, in that second period, 23-7 in favor of the Prowlers. They were able to keep the puck in the attacking zone for large chunks of periods of time. They created turnovers, and even if they weren't scoring, they were keeping the puck, deep. And again, Danbury just didn't have an answer for it. We get to the third period, and wow, this was probably the most beautiful goal of the weekend. It was Alex Johnson. This is on the power play. He's standing on the goal line and wrists a backhander home past McCollum, and there you go. It wasn't a backhander. I'm sorry. It was on the forehand, but still, I mean, it's right on the line, and ding over the shoulder. It was 3-2. 3:41. It's Lucas Lackney. A weird turnover behind the goal by Connor McCollum. I'm not sure what he saw or didn't see, but Lackney strips the puck from him from behind. Well, I'm sorry, I forgot to see who the assist went to, but the assist teammate strips the puck behind the goal, passes out to Lackney. Lackney puts a goal basically into an empty net. Column tried to get back, but not in time. So, and then let's see, Troy Millette scores at 4:08, so just 27 seconds later. And then he scores again at 8:51. That was the end of McClendon's night. In comes Frankie McClendon, to finish up the game. There was a power play goal late by the Hat Tricks. 21 seconds left. Jacob Ratcliffe scores. But at that point, it was, the game was over. It's 6-3. Excuse me, I said 6-2 earlier. It was 6-3. So, Prowlers 43 shots on goal overall, and the Hat Tricks 26 shots on goal. And most importantly, Port Huron grabs a 1-0 series lead and a chance to put the Hat Tricks away tonight in Danbury. Now, this is going to be the late game. We'll talk about that later on. So yeah, we have Van Durkin. He had a couple of assists for the Hat Tricks, but really the Russian line was kind of silent last night. Josh LaBelle had a goal and assist. McCollum stops 34 of 40 in 48, 51 played. McClendon stopped all 3 shots he faced. For the Port Huron Prowlers, Reggie Millette, 2 goals and an assist. He had a goal and an assist from Lucas Lackney, including that game-winning goal. We had Reed Cooper stopping 23 of 26. There you go. Crowd of 1752 on hand, pretty good. For those of you who don't know, who've never seen McMorran Place, it's a small barn as far as attendance goes. They can get a little over 2,200. So 1752, very good crowd. All right, so we have that game. And then we have the Black Bears Wolves game, which I watched on Rumble. A lot of people asked for my feedback on it. The video stream itself was okay. A couple of very minor glitches, but for the most part, it worked pretty well. The chat feature, terrible. Don't even bother with it. If you're gonna watch a game on Rumble, you're not gonna be able to use a chat feature. At least not very well. It's just egregiously slow. So that's my feedback on Rumble. Back to the game. All right. Early on, this looked like it was going to be a Binghamton walk, and then it was not. In the first period, the Wolves, they did a fantastic job in this game, just focusing on their defensive side of the game. And even though the Black Bears scored a couple times in the first period, the Wolves were able to make a couple of adjustments, and they played a great man system in defensive zone. And the Black Bears were clearly getting frustrated as this game went on by the fact that they're shooting the puck, and block shots after block shots after block shots because the Wolves were in the proper position in defensive zone. They played really well. A couple of plays decided this game. All right, for the Wolves, they hung in there. Started off, Connor McCollum was Connor McAnanima was the goaltender for the Black Bears. Brendan Colgan for the Wolves. We did have a goal by Scott Ramakers, 6:37 of the first period, and that was the goal to put the Black Bears up initially and kind of gave them some momentum. 9:51, Gavin Yates scores on the power play with Jimmy Lodge in the box, and that made it 2-0 at that point. So we get through the first period, and it was 16-5 Black Bears. All right, those are shots on goal. All right, keep in mind that if you shoot a puck and Trevor Lord blocks it, that's not a shot on goal because Lord prevented the puck from coming in on goal, and that's what the Wolves started to do. in the second and third period. Uh, the Black Bears were shooting, but the Wolves were just stopping everything. And then they were able to capitalize on a couple of opportunities. Finally, at one point in the second period, Black Bears, Black Bears get themselves into penalty trouble. Two men sitting in the box, and Trevor Lord converts. It's 5-on-3. It's 16:06 the time of the goal, and it is 2-1 in favor of the Black Bears. Right at the end of the game, I want to address this because I got all sorts of questions. I got all sorts of comments. All right. Right before the time expired in the second period, Trevor Lord unleashed a wicked shot. Comes off the crossbar. The puck bounces almost straight down and out. A lot of people thought that was a goal. That was a goal. No, it was not. Both Jeff Barrett and Connor Malone on the Wolves feed looked at that in slow motion 3 times. The puck never crossed the line. I'm sorry, Wolves fans, that was not a goal. And Jeff Barrett and Connor Malone attest to that. It was a great shot. It beat McAnanima, but it didn't go in. All right, so I just wanted to clarify that for those of you who did not watch the game on Rumble. Yeah, it was thoroughly looked at. All right, so shots in the second period. Binghamton with still an advantage, 12-11, but they shot the puck way more than 12 times. Again, Wolves blocked everything. Third period. My cat is playing with something in the sink. Okay, anyway. So... yeah, let her make an appearance. Okay, third period. It is David Gaeta scoring on a power play. 19 seconds in, the same power play that carried over into the third, in from the second period, in which Lord got that wicked shot off that didn't go in. This time, Gaeta makes sure the puck goes in. It's 2-2. And the Black Bears are obviously scratching their heads. We're shooting the puck a ton. What's going on? Again, that wonderful system that the Wolves played in the defensive zone, manning up, man on man, stick on stick, constant block shots. Wolves did a great job. Unfortunately, it just came up short as one turnover at the blue line. While on the power play, CJ Stubbs walks in, scores shorthanded, and that was the difference maker. Right off the blue line. And yeah, there is your game, 3-2. Again, the Wolves were on the power play, and yeah, it just backfired. One little play, and that could turn an entire game, and that's what happened. So that was the end of the game. Now, shots were 36-22. I mean, this is my own guess. I would say Binghamton probably fired the puck 55 times, and the Wolves blocked about 20 shots. That defense was that good. So there you go. Shots 8-6 in the third period. So yeah, the Wolves never got a lot of shots on goal, but they made this game very interesting, very scary for the Black Bears. So Binghamton ends up with a 1-0 lead. The one thing that I will make a stink about with this game, reported crowd, 580. Now, the Watertown barn is small. You can see a little over 1,500 people. That crowd was much, much bigger than 580. I don't know why it got reported as such. There was easily 1,000 people there. I'm looking around as I'm watching the game. It was a pretty good crowd. It was not 580. So, yeah, whatever. Okay, Yates with a power play goal. Stubbs with that shorthanded winner. And Connor McAnanima stops 20 of 22. Power play goals by Gaeta and Lord. And Colgan stops 33 of 36. Did not play badly at all. Great defensive performance again by the Wolves. So, there we go. We go to the Continental Division, and I've got to kind of wrap things up a little bit on the speed of this. So much to talk about with these games, though. Carolina. Wow. Yeah, it was over kind of early in this game. Good crowd, a good mix of Carolina and Blue Ridge fans, as we expected. 2,400 packed the house in Withville. And yeah, it is all Carolina early. Greg Hussey in goal. He returns after a couple games off with an undisclosed injury. And for the Thunderbirds, it's Mario Cavallari. All right, so first period, Carolina pours it on. It is Roman Craner scoring at 3:06 to give the Thunderbirds an early lead. Gus Ford scores at 12:54. Gus Ford scores again. 17:26. This was a power play goal, even though it is not reflected on the score sheet. One of the reasons why the Bobcats power play goal percentage was so low this year, it was only like 15%, is because the off-ice officials at Blue Ridge do not know how to record a power play goal. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. All right. I've seen it all year round. I was like, well, this was a power play goal. That was a power play goal. And it gets reported as even strength. So I hope the off-ice officials at Blue Ridge get some training so that they can get better at that for next year. Anyway, all right. So Ford with the power play goal. That makes it 3-0. That's how we ended the first period. Shots were 17-15 in favor of Carolina. Kind of a wide open game. And I think the Bobcats realized that they needed to clamp down a little bit on their defense because they made some adjustments. Second period came out and played a lot more sound in the second period. However, Carolina continued to roll. We had Yuri Pastuka scoring just a minute 8 in to make it 4-0. And then finally, Radchenko, he ends up scoring for the Bobcats, 10:07. That gets rid of the shutout possibility. And Bobcats were hoping for some momentum. I wouldn't say they gained momentum per se. They played more on an even footing from that point out with Carolina, but just kind of couldn't cross the threshold. So Peter Panicek scores a 16:53. That goal really meant a lot to him. He had a big celebration there, makes it 5-1. That's how we were at the end of 2. Shots in the second period, 10-9 in favor of the Bobcats. So the Bobcats held Carolina to 9 shots, but Carolina scored on 2 of them. So in the third intermission, out goes Hussey. In comes Connor Green. He would finish out the game for the Bobcats. Cavallari, he's still in goal. Third period, 13:39. It's Justin Daly scoring on the power play. Listed as equal strength. It was on the power play. So both teams got a power play goal last night. All right, so that's how we ended the game with that goal by Daly. Shots in the third period, the Bobcats ratcheted up their offensive attack. 15 shots on goal, only allowing 5 to Carolina. So shots in the end were 40-31 in favor of the Bobcats. But yeah, it was 5-2 where it most mattered on the scoreboard. So Carolina takes that 1-0 lead. They hope to close things out tonight at the Fairgrounds Arena. Game time is 7:30. All right, 7:30. Well, we'll look at that in just a minute. All right, so yeah, is Zach White having a great game, 3 assists on the game. Roman Kramer, a goal and 2 assists, and Gus Ford scored the 2 goals. For the Bobcats, it's Justin Daly and Radchenko with the goals, Daly on the power play. Greg Hussey stops 21 of 26 shots in 40 minutes played. Connor Green went perfect 5 for 5. Mario Cavallari, he goes 38 for 40 in the game. Probably the best goaltending performance by statistics for the night. All right, so Let us go to the final game, and I put this on a separate board because it was a game two, not a game one. And Athens, wow, 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 wow. Yeah, this is the response that Athens fans were hoping for after Columbus put up 7 goals against them on Wednesday in Columbus. So the team comes home, and yeah, definitely a difference. Right off the bat, it is Athens getting on the board. It is Gukarov scoring on the power play. Excuse me. 3:10 the time of that goal. And then we had more coming later on. But this game was very physical in the first period, and the physicality kind of, I won't say it diminished, but it just became a little bit more focused. Now, there were a lot of penalties in this game. Columbus had 6 power play opportunities, Athens had 7. Um, so it was, yeah, it was a lot of calls. This referee crew is calling things tight, and you know, I mean, some crews do that, and I know a lot of people are going to complain. Oh, they're calling penalties on everything. Well, yeah, some crews do that. Some crews let things go. So it just depends on who you have. I mean, the pretty even on penalties. Second period. Oh yeah, in the first period. I'm sorry, Athens 15-6 in the shots advantage. They were getting a lot of pucks on Trevor Babin, and Babin was playing fantastic. I counted 4 times where Mateen Rod said, "I don't believe that save." He was complimenting Babin on just a tremendous performance. But Athens, fortunately, they were able to figure out how to get the puck past Babin. And yeah, second period really opened up things. It's Malik Johnson scoring on a tip from Gallant. Beautiful back and forth play. That's 4:18. Not even a minute later, it's Shinkarik getting on the board. Shinkarik would score 5:06 to give Athens a 3-0 lead. Alex Sturgeon did get the River Dragons on the board at 15:02 on the power play. And so we ended up with a 4-1 score at the end of 2. And I say 4-1 because Malik Johnson scored again just 31 seconds after Sturgeon had scored. So a great response by the Rock Lobsters. 4-1, the end of 2, shots 18-16 in that second period. So yeah, the offense opened up for both clubs, but it was Athens getting the better of the opportunities. All right, Connor Lind. He gets Columbus a little bit closer, but it's getting late. It's 12:15 the time of that goal in the third to get Columbus to within 2 goals. But then Andrew Safura scores at 16:04. All right, so it's 5-2. Justin McDonald did respond very quickly just 34 seconds later on a 2-on-1. Beautiful, beautiful pass. Lavalier had no chance whatsoever to stop this. And so it's 5-3. From there on out, Athens, kind of tightened things up. Started reasserting the physical game so as to not give Columbus the free ice, so to speak. And that's how we ended up things 5-3. Now, for the game, McDonald had a goal and assist. Sturgeon, that power play goal. For the Rock Lobsters, Malik Johnson was the star of the game, obviously. 2 goals and an assist. Shinkarik had a goal and assist before, what we'll talk about in just a second. Andrew Sturgeon also a goal and an assist. So Athens ties things up, sends it into a do-or-die game tonight at Aikens Ford Arena. And yeah, that'll be the deciding game. Whoever wins that game goes on to the semifinals. All right, now in this game, it was about 8 minutes left in the game. Carter Shinkarik left with a lower body injury. That's what it's being described as, is just a lower body injury. He will not be available tonight. in Game 3. He's already been ruled out. So that's tough because Shinkarik had a fantastic season, 77 points during the regular season, the lead all defensive man, and he was obviously a big component of this game for Athens as well. So that's going to be a big loss for Athens. We'll have to see how they respond. Um, I'm sure they will respond, but anyway, yeah, no Shinkarik tonight. All right, crowd of 34,65 on hand for this game, by the way. So Babin, he saved 42 of 37, 37 of 42. Reverse that. I forgot to mention that. Lavalier, 29 saves, 32 shots. So yeah, game 3 tonight. And this is the schedule of the games tonight. Binghamton game is at 7:05 for this game 3. Then 7:30, Carolina hosts the Bobcats. And 8 o'clock, yes, it's a late start. Port Huron and Danbury. This was done intentionally because both teams, they have a 10-hour road trip from Michigan to Danbury. Danbury wanted to give both teams a little bit of a recovery time because basically, I mean, the game was played. They got dressed in the street clothes, boarded the bus, hit the road. So yeah, both of these teams being given a little bit of time to rest before tonight's game. 8 o'clock start at the Danbury Ice Arena. All right, so there we go. There's our recaps. Tomorrow we will definitely be talking about one team moving on, possibly more. We'll find out. All right, so tune in tomorrow to YouTube. Thank you for watching. Make sure you're hitting subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow right here on the Fed League Flash.